Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Triumph Review. Today we are going to be talking about the Heresy Triumphs. Now, I don't actually have all of them. I am missing only the Triumphs for earning the ornaments for the Fusion Rifle, but I'm honestly just going to buy these next season at the kiosk. I don't care to grind out this much reputation to go get them. I have better things to do. So technically I don't have all of them, but I figured it was good enough to the point where I could adequately kind of talk about everything. Starting off with the quest section, everything here is pretty standard as usual, except we got these cool little side quests this season. I'm mostly going to talk about these when we get to the title because there's like, it's kind of messed up. Like the description for the Triumph for these in the title is actually wrong in what it says. But overall, I thought that these were kind of cool, you know, just a neat little thing kind of to add on. There's not a whole lot to say about the quests. Then we move on to Resolve and Ambition, and if I remember correctly, grinding for these was kind of interesting because it was very time-gated. Some of these you just could not get until the final area of the Nether came out, which I think was in, what, like Act 2, I think? Maybe Act 3? So there was a while where I had these pretty progressed and I couldn't finish them until that came out, and I was super confused because I didn't remember that they were adding in another area to the Nether. So I was just kind of like, you know, am I doing something wrong? I was waiting for someone to drop a guide showing where the new ones were, and that obviously didn't happen until the new area came out in the act. But once it did, it was not bad to go and get the final ones. I ended up getting pretty lucky. A friend of mine was doing Nether and happened to get that area, so I just joined on them and managed to bust out pretty much everything I needed. I know some people were kind of frustrated because I'm pretty sure for a little bit it was an area that you couldn't start in, and I remember seeing some sort of video like guaranteeing how to get there and whatever. So yeah, fortunately I didn't really have those problems, which was nice, but I know some people did. The only other thing I want to talk about is the permanent enhancements. I remember, so this is like the scrolls is specifically what I want to talk about. It was really confusing on how to get those. Like, they did not explain it at all. I think Dado made the video that I watched on how to actually get these, but I was really confused on how to get the scrolls for a while, you know, if it was just like running around or like what did I really have to do. So I kind of wish that they had explained that maybe a little more in a season where it was very secrets focused, which we'll get to that. It would have been nice to have things a little more clear. I found myself this season kind of oddly confused about just the mechanics of what was going on with everything. And as someone who plays the game a lot, that's something that was very strange to me. So yeah, I just remember being kind of confused on how to get some of these, and I think there is a line between making like cool secrets and then just having things be a little confusing. I think this season kind of walked that line a little bit. Where it falls is kind of up to you, but for me it kind of went to both sides. And overall, like, I'm not saying this is a bad season, I really liked it, but I just wish there had been a little more clarity on a few things, I think. Moving over to the Nether, mainly the thing I want to talk about here is completing encounters. I think this was the longest one to grind out for me. Thank God it was not like last season where I had to do 50 full onslaughts. Oh my god. I never want to play Onslaught Revenant ever again. No, this time they actually made it very reasonable in what you had to do. It's a little bit grindy, but this is also kind of a longer season, so honestly, I think it's fine. It kind of balances out, and Nether is way more fun and way shorter than doing Onslaught. So I didn't mind this. I think this was much better than last season, and the same kind of goes for Court of Blades here. I think what actually took me the longest here was spending runes, but once you figure out how to like spend your runes, this doesn't take that long. It's just running a lot of Court of Blades. So it honestly wasn't that bad. And then defeating 5 challengers in an expert run. I mean, I think by the end of the season, my friends and I were running experts where we could just defeat all 13. It was just easy. So a lot of this really was not that bad. This one took a little bit of time. but I'm pretty sure they had like enemies on rotators throughout the weeks in the legend version, so you could kind of just go and do those. And then I think the flawless actually took me a couple tries, but yeah, honestly, not too terribly bad. Okay, the secrets tab. This was kind of the main focus of the season, I want to say, was on secrets. And for a long time, I was really confused. So if you guys don't know, you can go on certain websites that have access to the API. I really like to use Braytech for this, and it will show you any triumphs that are like hidden from in-game. And so for a long time, you know, we didn't have access to the chess event. So there was all these like unlisted triumphs in the secrets tab, even after the story had already wrapped up. So I was really confused, you know, like what's the deal with that? I wasn't sure if it was like a glitch or if I should even put them on my spreadsheet, but they were real. It's just the chess event. And I did have a lot of fun running around, collecting all the chess pieces, doing the puzzle. Although I messed up the sequence, the chessboard sequence, like halfway through, and so I had to restart it. And after that, I was very careful not to do it again, but because I really didn't want to do the whole puzzle again, and that kind of sucked. But overall, you know, cool chess event. I thought maybe it could have been a crossover with chess.com, but you know, it wasn't that at all. And I only think that because Clash Royale, which I've played a lot of, did that a while ago. So it's not like chess.com collabs are unheard of. And then I do remember this finding secrets hidden throughout the Nether one taking quite a bit of time. Scarrow put out a really good video about this on how to farm this, where there's a couple routes you can take in the starting areas where you just basically farm this. So that's what I did. I put on like some YouTube videos and just went and farmed this for, I think, like maybe an hour or so. And that did about half of it, I think. So it was kind of slow going, but it honestly wasn't that bad. I was not about to do this by doing full Nether runs. I do not care to do full runs of activities like more than I need to after last season and everything that happened there. The gear tab and the general tab are all pretty much what we expected. They don't change this stuff anymore. I am curious if they actually are going to change it going forward. We have yet to really see what the seasonal structure is going to be. I mean, obviously they've talked about it and stuff, but you know, I would really just want to get my hands on it and see if they're changing anything, you know, triumph wise or just really structural wise with the season. Okay, next up, let's talk about the title. I'm just gonna get straight to what I was talking about earlier. So the description for this triumph is really weird. It says to complete the first act side quests, but these are actually the side quests from all 3 acts, right? Hive hacking, Willbreaker Shards, Vengeance. If we hop back over to Heresy, you can see Hive hacking, Willbreaker Shards, and Vengeance. And these were not from Act 1. These were all from separate acts, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure that's right. So yeah, I was really confused about this when Act 1 wrapped up and I hadn't done it yet. Yeah, a little strange, but the rest of this, I mean, it's pretty standard stuff. This season was a lot of go collect these things, go find these things. And I really enjoy that type of thing, as long as it's not like too extreme, you know. But I think that they did a good job not making it too bad. Heretic, I think, is a really cool title. I think this is one of the better seasonal titles, and you can definitely run this, and it's still, like, cool. Obviously, I'm never going to run it. I've talked about this before. I'm never taking off Reckoner. Yeah, so not something that I personally would run, but I could definitely see people running this, especially if you're new to the game. I think it's a pretty cool title to run. I don't think it's necessarily any harder or easier than some of the previous seasonal titles we've gotten, but it's still kind of a cool thing to have. So that kind of wraps up everything with the triumphs and title. I think closing thoughts, this was good. This was a good season in terms of triumphs with all the secrets. I like the niche triumphs, you know. I like the ones where you have to go and do a specific thing, and I think we got some of that. I think there was room for more of that in the Nether and Court of Blades activities. I think there was definitely room to come up with something creative, you know, like I don't know, running Nether, but you're only allowed to defeat combatants with swords, and it's, you could name a title after the sword logic with that. It's that, those kind of things where it really just shows creativity that I really love. And I think like the step below that is going and finding a bunch of secrets, if that makes sense. So pretty cool. I think there's always room to make cooler triumphs, but yeah, overall I liked it. I liked the season. I wish the weapons were maybe a little better, but that's about it. So thank you for listening to my opinions, and I'll see you guys in the next video.